Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News, but we've got a Love is Blind recap. That's right. Season 5 of Love is Blind. They dumped episodes 1 through 4, then 5 through 7. Well, this will be a recap for episodes 1 through 4. We got a lot to get into. I'm going to jump in. If you're new to my channel, I normally record from my recording studio in Los Angeles, but I'm on location here in the Indian Ocean. That's right. I'm in Southeast Asia, and I'm on a nice trip here. Got very burnt today. Saw some dolphins and some sharks. But in the meantime, I've got you covered here with your Love is Blind updates. And don't forget, subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoy Love is Blind content, and I'll make more of it. All right, I take notes, I read them back to you guys, and no edits, no jump cuts. Episode 1, so you're a recent cheater. Vanessa asks, is love truly blind? I don't know, Vanessa, you married a boy band member. It's not because of his vocals, right? All right, so they play Marry, Bang, Kill, waffles, pancakes, French toast. I'd kill the waffles, F the pancakes, and marry the French toast. What about you guys? Lydia from Puerto Rico, she starts us off here, says in the past she's been labeled too much. Well, according to every New York City Puerto Rican parade I've been to, the Puerto Ricans know how to party. And Lydia, you are just the right amount of much. All right, she hits it off with Milton. She's 30, he's 24. But he looks not a day over 38, and they love rocks, but that age difference doesn't have much foundation, if you know what I mean. He puts her as his number 1. Lydia says he's too young, and I agree. I don't know. Look, call me sexist, because sure as hell some people do, but I think it's a weird age difference when you're like a 24-year-old guy. You know, men don't mature. He's got to run around. I mean, I know he's different. He likes rocks, so maybe this one will work. Lydia says he's too young. Lydia falls quickly for Izzy. Izzy becomes the very personable guy that everyone's into. He's insecure that he has a bald head. I can confirm women at bars do take your hat off to check if you have hair. I've got a little too much hair today. I had fruit bats attacking me. That's right. We saw a flying fox today. All right. I like Izzy. He's ready to explore everyone's personalities. Izzy says he was engaged to a brunette. And then we have brunette girl Joni Mitchell. She's almost 31, so there she is. And she mentions that she was married before. History of dating addicts. Johnny says her mom said most everyone is supposed to be in relationships, but it's okay. Oh, no, Johnny's mom says not everyone has to be in relationships, which, of course, is not what you want your mom to say when you're like, why am I single? And your mom's like, it's okay. You can try cats. All right, so they do long montages of everyone eating food. We saw that. And then it's like, all right, Nick Thompson told you they do eat. No. Uche and Miriam hit it off. Where's Uche? There he is. And she says she has a skincare job offering a distinct composition. Does anyone know what the heck she was talking about? I didn't catch that one. What was she saying? I kind of feel like that was left unresolved. The women say they don't want to know their guy's sex number. They want a man who is experienced. And then we have Taylor and JP. There's Taylor, there's JP. They do push-ups. She calls him sugar butt. He's ready to get engaged to her. Lydia tells Izzy he is her number 1. Stacy says women are getting territorial over Izzy. Where's Stacy? There she is. Izzy dumps Lydia. She tells him she misses him. He tells her that their relationship is missing something. And she says, what is it? He says, chemistry. And she's about to go Puerto Rican on him. She's going to give you more chemistry than Breaking Bad. She is blindsided and then returns to the pod in tears. Not Stacy, Lydia. You saw where she was. All right. Well, we don't need to jump back and forth to everybody. Uche and Aaliyah are doing it fast. They are just getting after it fast. They both tell the other they are leaving there together. It's like, all right, fine, go for it. Uche asks her if she's cheated. Where's Uche? Let's go back to Uche. And then, it's about to go off the rails. She says once. She says she wasn't sexually satisfied for 2.5 years. He says, feel free to share your story. And then he judges her that she was a recent cheater. Uche asks the right questions. He's like, why didn't you just break up with the guy? He says, it's not good. This is not good. She says she never told her ex about the cheating. Uche goes hard on her, says her cheating on him is about her, not about him. And now she has to defend her actions. Yikes city. She says, clearly you see me differently now, and that's why you're not supposed to know your past. Like, Uche was like a detective who's like, look, if you tell me the truth, I won't, go hard on you. Then you're like, all right, I stole something. They're like, all right, put him in handcuffs. You're like, oh, come on. I thought we had a nice old trust bond there. All right, so the women console Aaliyah. Lydia says, do you want to marry a guy that will judge you this easily? We'll get back to Lydia in a minute. All right, let's jump to episode 2. That's right, folks. We're just going to run through this. Now, look, most of the fun content is what happens after the show, but we need to catch each other up and make sure we're all on the same page here, and then we will, kind of move into all of the, side stories that present themselves. All right, episode 2. Lydia's back on her grind now that Izzy dumped her. Lydia cries to Milton. He says she is worthy of being loved. Milton's a good character. He turns out to be wise for his age. She wrote him off for being too young. He says she is his strongest connection. Milton gave Lydia a chance to share, and you could see her melt her sadness away. He's very smart, says if he did the experiment again, he wouldn't share his age. And of course, Lydia, this is what Love is Blind is all about. It's about dumping people, and then the person you like no longer likes you, and then you go back to the person you dumped. We'll get back to that in a second. Taylor and JP. Taylor asks about his childhood, and he starts crying, shares how he grew up with an angry mom who would take her anger out on his sisters. He would try and comfort his sisters, and Taylor says the bad parts of our parents we don't take with us. So JP says he's never been so comfortable and has never told anybody that. She says she would regret if she never told JP she loved him, and he says, I love you too. So that relationship off to a great start, and good for JP for opening up and being vulnerable. Here's a nice little note for my fellow men out there. You don't have to be strong all the time. You can let your guard down and get therapy, or at least talk to somebody. That's better than nothing. Uche and Aaliyah are back. Man, Lydia is a good friend. I'm taking notes as I see them. She's there to support Aaliyah. She says she felt, Aaliyah says to Uche that she felt he was condemning her for mentioning cheating. And look, I'm kind of on her side. He asked her to be honest. Even if something happened recently, you can still learn from that. He says he was lied to in the past, and that relationship scare him, and that's his issue. He says, if I were to be honest, I need to create an environment where I can make you comfortable. He apologizes and says he's fallen for her, asks her if she forgives him, and she says, yes, of course. She says, I'm not going to give you a reason not to trust me. And how important is that in relationships? To not give your partner a reason to not trust you. Izzy and Stacy, and by the way, that's episode 5, 6, 7. That's when you get the trust issues. After you fall in love, and then you go and meet the other person, and then the physical chemistry takes off. Izzy and Stacy are talking about wanting to see each other naked. She says he gives her butterflies. Stacy is confident and isn't afraid of the other women. Where's Stacy? There she is. All one sleeve of her. She's just letting the shoulders out for the boys. She's confident, and she likes Izzy also likes Johnny. Chris tells Johnny he's in love with her. Where's Chris? Hold on. There. Nope, that's not. There it is. Chris tells Johnny he's in love with her. She says, I can see a future with you. And it's like, yikes. When someone's like, I love you, and they're like, I could see that happening. It's like, that wasn't meant to be. Johnny says she got a crush on Izzy. Izzy says his family was all Jehovah's Witness. Let's go back to Izzy, wherever he is. There he is. No holidays, no sports. He says it sucked. How sad. Couldn't do school Valentine's Day activities. He got in trouble for doing an Easter egg hunt. Woof. Izzy found out his dad wasn't even his real dad. A cousin told him now he wants a family with traditions. How wild. She tells him it's him. He smiles. I like Izzy. Izzy's good. The guy just wants Christmas carols, right? He wants Christmas carols, and he wants some, rum with the in-laws, and, give him a little bit of some holiday spirit. Give him an Easter egg hunt, for God's sakes. Oh, snap. JP is about to propose to Taylor. Let's go back to them. They're over there somewhere. JP's about to, there it is. He in the pods. Hold on. He's about to propose to Taylor. He breaks down and calls her sweeter than sugar. He gets on his knee and asks her to marry him. She says, I will. He calls her sweet. She said, why don't you give me your sweet tooth? I got a cavity for you. Okay, I don't know. This is a very dental-heavy pun. Chris says he is certain about Johnny, and that's yikes, because he's like, I'm certain about you. And Johnny's like, well, I don't know. She says she can't be torn between two people anymore. And then in the pods, the guys console Chris. Izzy says he's nervous that Johnny won't like him after they meet. He says his ex-fiance gaslighted him, and he's so insecure. Johnny says her and her ex broke up because of a drug addiction, so they kind of go back and forth over that. Weird fights break out between Izzy and Johnny. He is in his head. She says this isn't productive. He says let's call it a night. Yikes. Now Johnny thinks she should have gone for Chris, and then it's time for JP and Lauren to meet in real life, and then we go to episode 3. Look, guys, we're just churning through this. Time for JP to meet Lauren. She says sugar butt, and he goes, what's up? Then they smooch and hug. Pretty good match. There's always going to be some like downtime there. They're just sitting on a bench in a well-lit studio. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. They're kissing for the first time. They know they're on camera, so they can't get too hot and heavy. You know, whatever. They leave room for the Holy Spirit. Lauren says the silences were a bit awkward. And then, look, yeah, the whole scenario's awkward. Stacy wants Izzy, says he is her top. They continue to, she wants to be his bottom. Come on, folks. They continue to hit it off in the pods. Aaliyah and Uche keep their flirting up. She likes to eat honey and Splenda. Yeah, that's kind of weird. And peek at her man showering. That's totally normal. Milton and Lydia are back. He calls her weird, and then we find out he is in a competitive Pokemon league. It's like, all right, you have nerds. Lydia's the type who calls guys nerds, but she's also a nerd. She's just a good-looking nerd. So when you're a good-looking nerd who's also a female, I think your nerdness gets overlooked. Just like ADHD not being diagnosed with women. It's like women can have ADHD too. Girls, can have ADHD too, and they could be nerds. Nerds is not an exclusive trait. I am here to fight for your right to nerd out, you Star Trekkies. All right, Johnny and, that's right. Okay, Johnny and Izzy, they go from great to weird. She wants to show Izzy she's fully there for him. Johnny says if she doesn't leave here with him, it'll always be a what if. Johnny asks him if he's ending things with her. He says, yes, I am. So then we've got Johnny just kind of like, yeah, that's what happens. You go for one, someone goes for the other. It's a weird experiment. Izzy and Stacy hang. Clearly, they are into each other. They are giddy. They are excited. Where's Stacy? There she is. Back in the homeboy's house, Chris returns, says it's not fun being a backup. After Izzy dumped him, he says he's excited to talk to Johnny, but feels stupid. She's like, yeah, my bad. So then Chris asks Izzy to spill it all out. So Izzy says Johnny called Chris the safe pick. They sort of called Johnny out by sharing the notes. Then we have Aaliyah. She's sharing how much she's in love with Uche, but Lydia looks bitter, like this experiment isn't working out the same for her. And as I'm watching this, I'm going, something's off with Lydia, and I don't just know what, and we're about to get to that. Uche gives Aaliyah a sweet poem. Uche has a bombshell to drop on Aaliyah, says he hasn't been completely honest with her, tells her one of his dates from the first day was a girl he dated in the past, and it's Lydia. And my friends, now we got a good season. This is getting spicy. I mean, how does all this drama get squeezed out of this just random group of people? Episode 4, folks, let's round it on home. Says he walked into the pod and the person recognized his voice. Damn. Rewind back to day 1. I love the editing here. Uche laughs, and he's like that. He laughs thinking about how this all went down, that Lydia showed up. She wanted to chat more. He says he ended things because they weren't compatible. Aaliyah is sobbing, and it's like, why didn't Lydia tell Aaliyah? Aaliyah calls it weird, says she loves Lydia, says Lydia has been supportive of her and Uche. Uche says Lydia blocked him on Instagram. Normal stuff. Something doesn't work out, you block him. Uche tells Aaliyah that Milton isn't ready to get engaged to Lydia. That's a side story. And my question here is, how in the great year of 2023 are we not hearing any political conversations? You would think the first thing you ask somebody in one of these relationships is like who'd you vote for? What do you pro-life, pro-choice, whatever, I mean, that's probably the number one thing that people like to talk about. Most people in today's climate don't date far off of their, same social ideology. All right, Izzy is off to propose to Stacy. She screams yes. She screams yes. Stacy returns to the sorority house and is engaged, and Johnny is not too thrilled. She says, happy for you, wish you the best, which in white girl terms means I hope you have a bad ending to this. Johnny mentions that Izzy told her he has a bad credit score. Burn. Yikes. Shani's finding ways to justify it. He sits, she's like, yeah, he's got a bad credit score. He sits in economy plus on flights. He's got a dog, but it's a pug. Okay, so she's talking to Chris like Johnny's talking to Chris like when you get a present for Christmas you didn't want, but you try and say nice things. She's like, this is good. I can really use this sleeping bag. I'm going to go camping now. This is fantastic. She's like, I want you, Chris. Your credit score is 740. Let's do this damn thing. And then Chris says he needs to be selfish and choose someone who always chooses him. He said, I will maybe see you soon. Rough one for Joni. She played with fire and she got burned. All right, back to Aaliyah. She tells Lydia that she knows, of course, the fact that Uche and her kind of hooked up. And then they hug. They share their love. Lydia sobs. Lydia is right that if she told Aaliyah she dated him before, it would have ruined the experiment. Lydia tells Aaliyah she thinks she would fall for him. Yikes. And it's like, I'm happy for Lydia for being honest, but clearly producers have found gold and they're going to exploit the hell out of this. Lydia overshares with Aaliyah. She's like, he's got OCD. His house is dope. He drives a Tesla. His dick curves to the left. You know, she's just sharing everything with him. Aaliyah isn't having it. She says she's pissed. Lydia tells Aaliyah she boned him 3 months ago. Look, this sucks for Aaliyah because Lydia did nothing wrong and Uche did nothing wrong. It's like you normally don't meet your partner's exes. Aaliyah is about to cross-examine Uche. Uche definitely has no feelings for Lydia. She definitely mischaracterized their pod convo. He says, don't let anything get in the way of our connection. Lydia tells Milton about her day one date. Recognizing it's Uche, she says she stopped things with him. And it's like, I thought he dumped her. So clearly we need everyone to get out in the open. This is going to make for a fascinating, recap or reunion, which I'm sure they will not do live after messing that up. All right, we're powering through this. She says if she said something sooner, the whole experiment would have gone down the drain, which I agree with Lydia there. You know, you just got to let it play out. He says if he had known, he probably wouldn't have dated her. That being Milton. He says if he knew, because now Milton's with Lydia. We got that, right? So this has just total ripple effects. Milton says he's realized he has had a lot of work to do on himself. He says there's always a plot twist. And it's time for Izzy and Stacy to meet up. Will she go for the bald thing? He's afraid he won't be accepted. They meet. Pretty good chemistry. Long hug. She seems like the best first kiss of the season. Like, they seemed really compatible. Good match. They talk about how hot Stacy is. Love is a bombshell. Love's not blind. Love is a bombshell. She says, I washed my hair just for you. He goes, me too. Because, of course, he's blonde. Funny stuff. Back to Lydia and Milton. She says she's never expected to be this sure. She wants to be his wife. I think red flags from Lydia. I mean, she's like really into Milton. It almost kind of seems like she just doesn't want to leave there single. You know what I mean? What do I know? He's on his knee. It's happening. He asks her to be his Puerto Rican wife. She said yes. She said sí. Uche, he's ready to propose, but she isn't in the room. So Uche walks into the room, ready to propose. Then overhead speaker says, unfortunately, Aaliyah has decided not to continue with the experiment. And it's like, wow, that was dramatic. The boys were ready to cheer on Uche. Wow, what a shocker. And do me a solid. If you want to get your Love is Blind news from me, make sure to let the algorithm know we are here. We're doing it by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and also don't forget to subscribe. I'll have your 5, 6, and 7 episode recap next week as I'm in the Indian Ocean, and I don't think I've got access to Netflix over here. The other episodes I had pre-downloaded. So anyway, wait patiently for that. I'll have more content coming your way, and I will be giving you other Love is Blind news along with Special Forces, Dancing with the Stars, Bachelor, of course, and all of the other entertainment shows and pop culture. Plus, I've got Taylor Swift updates, all that and more on today's podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. Go search that wherever you listen to podcasts or click the link in the description, and we'll talk to you guys over there. Bye, everybody.